Hello and welcome to this taste challenge, late morning taste challenge, mid morning taste challenge. This will count for Monday. Monday I can do it, but I think it's better to preempt it and do it beforehand. Monday sometimes I really don't feel like doing it. I've got two very low shelf products. um, Widely distributed. I wouldn't go that far. All right, first we'll look at this 1 liter bottle. Liter Clubhouse. Each type of liquor has a different color. Like the vodka is red, the gin is green, the brandy is I don't remember, and the Clubhouse blended whiskey is brown, and they all have like a khaki or off-white background. I had the Clubhouse gin. It was pretty good. It was actually very good, and it had a strange lemony taste, like gin with lemon added. They don't claim that on the website, but it was a little unusual. This has 2 shades of brown, dark brown and like a grayish brown with, like I said, that linen or khaki background. And they show an actual country clubhouse, which I'm sure this has never served at. And it's showing crossed golf clubs and crossed fishing rods. Blended whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. Hello, Bryce Regal. Most blended whiskeys use caramel color to give it some color and natural flavors. They don't have to disclose that, but Heaven Hill's doing that. You say, no, it's not Heaven Hill. It's Kentucky Standard Distillers, Bardstown, Kentucky. Yeah, well, it's Heaven Hill. This is $5. I'm going to tell you something. It's going to sound like a lie, right? $5.99 at International Market in Metairie, Louisiana. $5.99 a liter. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, and I don't think I have to explain that reason. $4.49 for a regular size bottle. Yeah. All I can tell you, it exists. Now, here's the competitor today. Bay Street Spirits Blended American Whiskey. Now, it says crafted from a unique, that means there's nothing else in the world like it, a unique blend of 20% straight whiskey and 80% grain neutral spirits. Well, that's not unique. Most every blended whiskey in America is 80-20. You might say, but it's the ingredients they're using that are unique. Could be. There's the cavern with the whiskey barrels in it, and it must be in Florida. Well, they do have caverns in Florida, but this is in Auburndale, Florida, Central Florida. The caverns are in northern Florida. And hold on a second, let me mute. It's probably some spam call, but I've been trying to get people to do my carport, which got blown away by Hurricane Ida. It's a nice carport, but I literally after the hurricane, it was one piece hanging. It blew it all around. One guy told me yesterday, we're going to be so busy, it'll be next summer before we can build it. I said, next summer, take them one day to build it. When they built the carport originally around 2009, took them one day. I mean, not the whole day either, but it's like craziness after this hurricane. Let me tell you, it's been almost 2 months. Sorry to hear you got hit that hard by the storm. Yeah, could have been worse, of course. Storm, my bad. Well, that's all right. I didn't see any leaking inside the house. It looked like the roof was okay. Back porch roof is damaged, leaking a little bit. Fence got blown down. The whole fence blown down. Like, not part of it, the whole fence. And it had been up. I built that fence in 1994. meaning I built it myself. I didn't pay somebody. My father helped me a lot, but I did most of the nailing, and I wouldn't do it today. But I did it then, and it lasted 27 years. And the way it was looking, it could last 27 more years, but the hurricane fixed that problem. So I guess he's going to go out there and continue building today. He started working on it yesterday, building it back, but part of it back. I don't want the back part built back. I'm going to let underbrush grow out there because it's like a swampy, forested area. And the fence was killing the grass. It was too much shade on the grass. But I don't feel bad because they had people on the news yesterday that's still living in tents and in their cars and vans since the hurricane, like people living in tents. Their whole house was destroyed. I mean, just destroyed. All right. Bay Street Spirits, Central Florida. Neither one of these products have an age statement. All right. You say, well, what does that mean? Okay, I'll tell you what it means. It means the straight whiskeys in these products are aged at least 4 years, in an oak barrel. Now you might say, well, it's not virgin oak, never before used charred oak barrels. Yeah, I know that. That's why they $5.99 a liter. That's why they're 80% grain spirits, unaged, raw. Now the raw grain alcohol is not aged. In Ireland, Scotland, Canada, they have to be aged 3 years. You have to take raw grain spirits, and that has to be aged 3 years. But in the United States, it does not have to be. That's why U.S. blended whiskey tastes so much different than Canadian or Irish or a Scotch. I mean, they could age it. They could, but they don't because they're not required to, and that's why it's so cheap. $13.99 for this big handle bottle. $13.99. So that's 14 plus 6. That's $20. But it's really $19.98. I paid $19.98 for both of these total. All right. The thing about these American blended whiskeys, they're not terrible. They're not good, really. But you drink them and you taste them and you say, oh, I thought it was going to just be a total nightmare. But they're not. They like stop short of that. They're just like totally cheap. You know what I mean? Like you could tell they're inexpensive. And everybody sells them. If I go to CVS Pharmacy, they got the Grand Legacy version. It's from Sazerac, but they won't say Sazerac on it. It'll say Grand Legacy. Legacy Distilling, Louisville, Kentucky. But it's got the Sazerac phone number. When Dixie's got their version, it's from Sazerac. It's either from Sazerac or Heaven Hill, invariably, or Bay Street. Florida Distillers, or you'll get some from the one in Princeton, Minnesota, or Auburndale, or I can't think straight. The Laird's in Scobeyville, New Jersey, or from Philadelphia, Worldwide Distillers. There's just like a set group of companies, and they just churn this stuff out. And all the stores are stocked with it. It's got to sell. It has to sell. There has to be a market, because there would not be a situation where you go to Total Wine or Dorgnac's or Winn-Dixie or Mathern's or any other liquor store around here, meaning grocery store, and they have multiple varieties of these blended American whiskeys. All right, so somebody's buying. I don't know why. Obviously, to me, they're just mixing it with like Kool-Aid and stuff. Really lowbrow usage. When my father would have these Mardi Gras parade, because we used to have a parade that passed in front of our house, literally. It's pretty popular parade. It's still popular if they ever have parades again because of the demic. But he would have all kind of liquor set out, but it was all cheap stuff like this. He wasn't about to buy expensive stuff for people to guzzle down. No. No, it wasn't going to happen. Did they mind? No way. They drank it like it was the best. Oh, man. All right. Because that wasn't their focus. Their focus was catching worthless Chinese-made beads. And looking at poorly made, cheap rented floats that you would get in a local parade. Now, you want to see really good, well-made floats with top-notch bands from across the United States. But yeah, you got to go to a Rex parade, Rex, or Endymion, or Orpheus, or you know what I'm saying, or Bacchus. Then you're gonna, because it's high money crews. They got a lot of money, and they can pay out for the good, or crew of Mid City, crew of Carrollton. You know, they got the heritage and all of that. But I mean, people go to these parades in the suburbs. They're not expecting the best looking floats. They're expecting cheaply made rental floats. They're expecting, or even homemade. Now the homemade floats are kind of nice, like people make them themselves because they're creative. People are creative and they come up with interesting and very comical topics sometimes. Sometimes they get in trouble for it, but and you get local bands that can barely play music. You know what I'm saying? It's very amateurish, but they're having a good time. People are drinking this kind of stuff. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And now, of course, it goes downhill later with fighting and whatnot. People acting like fools. But if you go to Rex or Bacchus, then you're going to get really top shelf floats that are handmade and incredible to look at. And then top shelf marching bands, university, Texas A&M University, University of Florida, you know what I'm saying, Louisiana State University, and so on. The best. But they're going to pay money for that. This is amber, and it's got caramel color added. This is straw, barely gold, and it's got no color added. I don't think it has color added. I just don't believe it. I just think they're using the raw grain spirits. They're blending it with straight, and I think corn whiskey, not bourbon. And they say, oh, well, put it out on the shelf. We ain't paying for no extra flavoring, and we ain't paying for no extra coloring, which is actually probably a better idea because it's tasting just like regular old basic whiskey. It's basic. I mean, it's basic cereal grain. But then Heaven Hill's like, oh no, we want it to taste like bourbon, sort of. So they start adding flavorings. Blending sherry, maybe rum. I don't know. It's weird. I don't think you can add anything but sherry in the United States. Read the Tax and Trade Bureau website. It says they're allowed to add blending sherry. Of course, you say, well, sherry, that could be pretty exotic in the flavors. Cream sherry and all this crazy stuff. Yeah, so cocktail sherry. So yeah, you never know. They could get real crazy with it, perhaps. If you're mixing it, shop price. I hear a lot of people say that. I don't drink cocktails or highballs, but I hear a lot of people saying, oh, good, waste management's on the way. But I hear a lot of people saying just shop price because you're going to subdue all the flavor. You're going to mix expensive whiskey and tomato juice. Like people do this. Like I see people, they'll take like Elijah Craig barrel proof. It's like $50 a bottle. And they're going to blend it with V8 juice. And people say, all you tasting is the V8. So I don't know the concept, but I think they're probably right. What is the difference between sherry and brandy? Oh, well, sherry is a type of wine. It's a fortified wine, oftentimes fortified with brandy. Whereas brandy is actual liquor. It's a spirit made from wine. They're related, but they're not the same. So happy to see that. New Orleans been having a lot of problems where the people not even come pick up the trash. But that's coming to a head. So now they're picking it up kind of regularly, I noticed, because the parish, Orleans Parish, St. John the Baptist Parish, etc., are saying, we don't care about your plight, telling the contractor. We don't care about your personal plight. You had a contract that you made to pick up trash twice a week. Now do it. And if you're not going to do it, fine. You're not going to get paid. There's other waste management companies. But now people are saying the parish should do it themselves, hire their own employees, buy their own trucks, and stop farming it out. If you're going to be socialist, do it all the way. And there's a strong argument for that. And you definitely got to blame yourself. You couldn't blame the contractor because, no, you're doing it. Sorry, I'll go out there and pick that up in a minute, the cans. It's kind of vanilla-ish. Vanilla. That's making me think Bay Street. I've been very pleased. I have to admit. The Florida Caribbean Distillers, been in business for 43 years. 43 years. 78 years. Since 1943. 78 years. It's like the truck suddenly cut off. I'm not saying it's good or great or their products are just, like world class. They're not. Look at their portfolio. It's all basic. But my experience with them is pretty good. It's like, okay, this stuff's serviceable. It has a purpose. The Capriccio flavored citrus wines are very popular here. It used to be a Seagram's distillery. It was Seagram's. It was just like their southern distillery, probably for the Southeast. But then they went out of business in the year 2000. So after 57 years, but somebody bought it and they're doing stuff there. This one has, Now, see, this one has that funky, monkey, weird vanilla, like nut oil aroma. Oh, it must be the Clubhouse. Now, when my friend David was kind of strapped for money about 3 years ago, that's not a criticism. Happens to a lot of people. You get down with jobs and whatever and getting a little bit of a bind and can't be running out buying all kind of, because he'll usually buy things like Ardbeg tin, that 4-year-old rye from what is it, Willet, 4-year-old. He usually spend $50, $60, $70, but you got to eat. So he was having a little rough time, and so he was buying the Clubhouse, and he was saying, "This stuff's not bad. It's not bad." And I was like, the provocateur. I was like, "Are you just saying that because you want to make yourself feel better, or do you actually believe it?" Now later on, when the money was good again, he was saying, "Oh, that stuff." I said, "Why you never?" I saw it on his kitchen counter. I said, "Why you never finished that?" He said, "Ah, that stuff's bad. I just cook with it." I said, "Last year you said it was good." He said, "Yeah, but I'm working now with a good job." I said, "Oh, it's all a matter of perspective, isn't it?" I'm the same way, All right. But can you buy really cheap products that are actually good without saying, "Well, I need money," or, well, you could make the argument. Yes, I think mellow corn. I saw it for $14.99. Because what you gonna substitute it with? Nobody makes corn whiskey anyhow. You say, what are all the straight corn whiskeys I can buy? You can buy mellow corn. You could buy yeah, right, nothing else. So on its own merits, it's good. It's not like something you got to buy as a substitute because you're trying to justify it. These two products here, okay, yeah, we know what we're dealing with. Enough said. I think this is the Bay Street. Here we go. Cheers. I can't even figure out where the product is. Let me put them straight. Yeah, this one has a weirdness. It's got to be that Clubhouse. Essentially, they are still like fermented and distilled corn. There's a little rye, admittedly, a little rye spice, a little perhaps barley malt whiskey, single malt. You say, yeah, what, 1%? No, it's 80% single malt. That's why it's $5.99. You know, it's a minimal percentage. Now, Bushmills Black Bush is 80% single malt whiskey. That's why it's $30 a bottle, if you're lucky. And that's why it destroys all the rest in the taste challenges. Think about it. Makes sense, don't it? This one just has too much vanilla flavoring. I know it doesn't have vanilla in it, but it's just strange. But it's not bad. But I never said Clubhouse was bad. I never once in my life said Clubhouse was bad. I said it was questionable. I said it was highly suspect. And I said you could make an argument that it would be serviceable in a pinch. That's all I ever said. I never said it was bad. I didn't need to say it. Right? Okay. Comments. What's the there's we talked about that. What do you want to see win the World Series? Who do you want to see win? Oh, I don't care. I have no preference. If the Astros win it, I'm fine with that. If Boston wins it, I can live with that. If the Dodgers win, I'm indifferent to that. And if the Braves win, I'm fine with that. But to say I care and have a choice, a favorite, a preference, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, the Astros are common around here. They play them on the radio every time they play a game. They're like the local team, so to speak. But yeah, I don't really care about them. Actually, I meant the difference between sherry and port sherry. Oh, and port. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Well, they're just a different style. Caleb, cheap and foodie. Port wine comes from Oporto, Portugal, and sherry comes from Jerez, Spain. Sherry is more like kind of like tastes like dates and figs, and port tastes more like grapes. It's more like in raisins. Yeah, port is more like purple. Yeah, that's a good example. Port is more purple and sherry is more orange. I mean, that's basic, but it is. You got to try and you'll see what I mean. Locally, the sanitation companies can't find employees. Spend 2 weeks with no trash service. Welcome to the decline of the empire, says Joe Biden's dentures. Yeah, the empire. Good afternoon, Ron. Good afternoon to you, BC, but it's still morning time, even in your area. Have wet brain finally. Uh-huh. Swerving off the hurricane, should maybe drink Guinness. Got a good haircut and saw my dog, says Mackerel Bates. I don't have wet brain. I don't have an adverse effect to drinking alcohol. I have a hard time with these inexpensive, affordable blended whiskeys. So got banned from the mall. You got banned from the mall? Okay. Well, getting back to planet Earth. Honestly, I could rip on these and make little snide comments for 2 hours and I wouldn't accomplish much. It just tastes like vanilla and wood and grain. Sweet grain, vanilla, like vanilla and wood. That's just That's what it is. Now this one here, it tastes like nut oil, like almond oil. I said that before in these videos with this Clubhouse. Almond oil, cashew oil. You say, well, that's a natural flavoring. How you know they're not using cashew extract or almond extract? You're right. I don't know that they're not using that. Kind of hard to believe it would still be $5.99 a liter though, if they're using like real true nut oil. But I don't know about what goes on in Kentucky, and I don't know what their commodity prices are. So can I honestly say they taste terrible? I cannot honestly say that. Can I say that they taste strange, especially the one in my right hand? Yeah, I could say that. Are they going to taste like straight bourbon that you would buy? No, I don't see how anybody could drink these and think it was straight bourbon. I just don't see that. I just don't see it. So to sit here and just go on and on and on till the break of dawn, till the break of dusk, talking about why do people buy this? There's a market for it. It sells. You know, what's going on? What's the story? What's the issue? What's it all about? Check it out. We're gonna bust this party out. You know, I don't guess that accomplishes anything. I think you just have to say, well, suffice it to say they exist. They have strange flavors. They're a little aberrant, kind of unusual. But the bottom line of it is they don't really taste bad. You can't actually taste. You wouldn't taste something and say, oh, almond oil, cashew oil is so bad. Well, no, that's a good flavor. And sipping this, I'm gonna say it tastes like vanilla extract. I mean, it's strange. And sugar water. It's weird, but it's not really like literally unpleasant. If you're thinking about scotch, yeah, forget that. Irish whiskey, to get that out of your mind. There's no relation. What about Canadian whiskey? Now there is some. Now, well, now you got me there because Canadian whiskeys can have some very odd flavors. So I would say that if you were going to compare two styles, international, you know, on an international basis, U.S. versus Canada, for instance, and you say what stop or U.S. and not versus really, U.S. with Canada, what would be comparable styles? I would say in a large extent, or to a large extent, not and, but to a large extent, Canadian blended whiskeys do have a tendency to display a lot of crossover with American blended whiskeys. Now, your counterpoint might be, well, they're both inexpensive, affordable, if you want to say cheap. Yes, except for Crown Royal and 40 Creek and such as that. But generally, yeah, they're cheap. But yeah, they have the exotic, that's the word, exotic flavors. Well, I don't mind exotic flavors. I mean, I have to be honest. If I drink a whiskey and it tastes like vanilla, it doesn't really bother me. Not dying to taste that. I'm not saying, oh, I just can't wait to taste a whiskey that's like vanilla extract. I don't say that to myself, but it does taste like that. And I don't say, oh, can't wait to try whiskey. It tastes like almond extract and cashew oil, but it's not it is not frankly an unpleasant flavor. And I didn't. You notice throughout this whole 30-minute video, I did not talk about any harshness or a bad bite or any kind of like real offensiveness. So that kind of have to take that into account. So, I mean, you know, for this price, buying these two bottles that together would cost less than $20 before tax. it's really kind of hard to tear them down and say bad things about them when you think about it. Sometimes it makes me wonder why I don't want to. Okay, wait, let's see. Got new black shirts, black and white ones, and new gray sweater from Big Five. Okay. Sometimes it makes me wonder why they want to take us under. Lost my girlfriend. Have a good day. Well, when you do these during the day videos, videos during the day, you do get some strange comments. Now people say, well, come on. These people coming off an all-night bender. And it's sort of like the strung out period for them. I could see that. You wouldn't have to convince me of that. But getting back to some level of reality. All right, I'm gonna say this is the clubhouse, but it's a little closer than I had first believed. It is the clubhouse. Yeah, something about that almond extract and that cashew oil and that other weirdness. It's talking about unique. Bay Street talks about this unique blend. Well, heck, I think the unique blend is the doggone clubhouse. I ain't never tasted whiskey tastes like cashew oil and almond extract. So if you buy it, will you like it? Oh, I don't guess you'll like it, but you'll probably remember it. For good or bad. For good or bad, you'll remember it. It'll stand out, and it might stand out in a perverse way, but it'll stand out. So, oh well, that's the way it goes. So, what's coming up next? Well, we're getting into the Sazerac regimen coming up. I got some pretty low grade things. 75 South. Sold at Albertsons, but I see it at other stores. Can't just be Albertsons. Got a new label. I haven't bought it. Won't be buying it. But 75 South, yeah, it's not bad. I will talk about that. And then I've got Grand Legacy from CVS Pharmacy. That is a CVS Pharmacy brand. It's an oddity. And then, oh yeah, before I do those two, I got Sunnybrook from Jim Beam. Sunnybrook. That's the actual old brand from the 1890s. And I bought that in Beaumont, Texas. True story. Right when the demic started, before people were totally locked down, they were like trying to figure out how much panic they should let themselves be involved in. And I got a whole liter bottle. It was $6.80. I think it was $6. It was some strange price, like $6.84. And this guy, I think it was Robert Browning, who comments off and on quite a bit. He was saying that's the worst blended whiskey in the world. And I tried it, and I thought it was certainly not the best. But it's definitely not the worst. It's curious, but I would say I have a somewhat favorable opinion about it. Then we've got to close it out. We'll do the Seagram 7. Well, Bay Street Spirits is fine, but it'll never beat Seagram 7. No way. Impossible. All right. Let's see. Last comments. Is McCormick corn whiskey still available? It might be. I can get McCormick blended whiskey in a snap. I can get that at least 5 different places. Not in this parish, but in Orleans, Jefferson Parish. McCormick, $5.99 every day of the week for $7.50. Is it really good? No. Is it pretty good? Yeah. Is it tolerable? Oh yeah. It's not bad. They make a really good holiday eggnog cream, bourbon cream type thing. Irish whiskey that they source out. It's pretty nice. Burley says clinking the mugs, clinking the mugs, clinking the mugs. Yes, thank you very much. So y'all take care. So Clubhouse does not win, but it didn't do too bad, honestly. Didn't do so bad after all. All right, thanks for watching this video production.